Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be looking at a new transmitter. Now these are two of my most trusted transmitters, the Radiolink AT9 and the Radiolink AT10. But today I have for you, which has just arrived, the Radiolink AT9s. Let's open it up and take a look. As most of you guys would know, I use the Radiolink transmitters, the AT9 and AT. This is the AT9 and this is the AT10. And I was recently sent this one, which is the Radiolink AT9s. And I am going to give you guys a bit of a unboxing and walkthrough. Now, what do we get in the box? Now, do bear in mind that this set I was sent, right, that's basically that, also comes with the R9DS. Now, depending on where you buy this from, it may come with a receiver or not. Now, in my case, this one came with the R9DS receiver, as well as this minuscule little receiver, which is the R6DS. But I also got this, and this is the latest R6DSM, which is a 10-channel S-Bus receiver. Now this, for racing purposes, is fantastic, as this weighs literally 1 gram. There's no weight to it. This, the original R6DS, was light, but this, the R6DSM in S-Bus, weighs absolutely nothing. So yes, so those are the three receivers I will be testing on the AT9s. And there you go. There we have the Radiolink AT9s transmitter. Take all this plastic away. I'm going to take the screen protector off. It's a little piece of plastic protecting the screen. And there you have it. It is very much like the original AT9. Looks are pretty much the same. In this case, I've got this, it's almost, let's say, a rose gold. And I'm going to flip the switches all to the top so we can just do a bit of a comparison. Now in this case, this is a mode 2 transmitter, as is my original AT9. So you get your throttle on this side and throttle, and this is a centering gimbal on this side. Now in the package you also get this part is required and is included in your parcel, so you can switch from mode 2 as it is currently configured over to mode 1, or install this and this becomes a centering gimbal. It is very much like the original AT9 for those guys who have had the AT9. It is a 10-channel transmitter. What's different about this transmitter versus the original AT9? Well, for starters, you get this nice little lanyard. And let me just open this so you guys can actually see what it is like. Now, I don't believe the original AT9 came with this. My original AT9 didn't. And this is nice to just connect to that hook there and support it around your neck when you are carrying it around. This is actually quite nice. It's a nice velvet feel. So yes, you have that. As with the original AT9, we have this little CD which contains the instruction manual. Now, as I do believe, there is no separate manual for the AT9s. it is exactly the same instruction manual as for the original AT9, but you will have to check that on your CD. Perhaps that is updated in time and we will see two different instruction manuals. But other than that, let's put in some batteries into this one. I've got batteries in this one already, and let's power them up and go through their menus. I'm using some very local batteries here, alkalines, but which have proven themselves to be very trustworthy. Now you get this little battery pack. Now you could replace this with a 3-cell battery or anything which has an input of 7.4 up to 18 volts, according to the specifications inside the battery bay. But you know, for my purposes, I just pop in a bunch of alkaline batteries. I get them pretty cheap, so in my case, not a problem. It uses 8 AA sized batteries, that's penlight batteries. And pop them in there. Very simple, nice little battery pack. If you do have a spare 3-cell battery, you know, I've got a couple of these 3-cell batteries. You could use these and pop them in there as well. But you know, batteries are so cheap. Pop them in there, and you have this little battery connector. Now the nice thing is, it's got an anti-reverse design, and it actually says it inside there. I don't know if you can read that, but it says anti-reverse. So it is going to warn you or not allow a incorrect voltage to be inserted. Now positive is at the top and negative at the bottom. Now on this wire, positive is red and black is negative. So red is going to be to the top. Okay, pop that in there. Put the battery bay. I'm just going to turn it that way. That way it seats better. And squeeze it in there. And the batteries give it a bit of a weight. Now, while we're on the back here, I just want to show you guys something. It's got a trainer port here. And besides the trainer port, it also has these two sliders. And they're ergonomically situated so that when you are flying and you wish to adjust, now normally you would use these for gimbal, but you can use them for whatever you like. But in my case, I set them up for my gimbal. This I use for my tilt, which is left and right to balance the horizon. And this side I normally use for my pitch, that is forward and backward, or down and up. I'm going to do a bit of a walkthrough on the menu. Switch it on, and immediately this is the initial switch on, and everything is pretty much to the 0 values. Now 0 values for your toggle switches here is down for the front ones, down, and left for those pot switches down there, and that one auto zeros. One thing I really do like about this transmitter is the fact that when you do trimming, now I'm going to start here because trimming is something everyone does sooner or later, and when you do trimming, it actually shows you a value as well as a little indicator. Now let's see if we can get that to show. Now I'm going to push it all the way to the left. That's plus 120. Now you see it has a value that it actually shows you, and a beep telling you when you have changed the value. And when you get to 0, it has a different sound. It also gives you the total voltage of the batteries as they are at the moment. It's 12.8, so we're pretty much fully charged. And considering this can drop all the way down to 7.4 volts. Now, I will never drop it that low. About around 10 volts, I start getting a little worried, and I will start thinking about replacing batteries. But yeah, it shows you a nice voltage there. You have multiple switches here. Besides these two at the back, which I showed you earlier, you have additional switches here on the front, marked as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. These two pot switches at the front as well. Switch A is a 2-position switch. Switch B is a 2-position switch. Switch C is marked. There's a little dot in between. It's a 3-position switch. Switch D is again just a 2-position. Switch E is 3-position. Switch F is 2-position. Switch G is again a 3-position. And switch H has this little marker, which indicates that that switch is a toggle. So that's the only toggle switch you have on this. And these two switches are just potentiometer switches. So they can be dialed to whatever you need, and they will give you values. Another nice little addition I would like to show you is immediately I'm going to power this off and power it back on. I'm going to bring in the original AT9 here just to show you the difference. When you power that on, now that looks pretty much exactly the same. Don't mind those little icons of the aircraft type, but when you press end here, nothing happens. I'm going to put that one side. When you press end here, it brings up your servo control and shows you your test screen so you can see there's your throttle value connected to channel 3 and channel 6. Great stuff. Your pitch controls, everything is there. Your yaw and your switches, so you know which switches are connected where. Your potentiometers, switches. That's quite a nice little addition. If you press end again, it'll give you another telemetry screen, which if you have the correct telemetry modules is going to show you additional data. Now in this case it'll show you throttle, yeah, but nothing else because we're not connected to anything. But yeah, that's a nice little addition. I like that. I want to give you a basic walkthrough of the menu, and let's switch it on. Now initially when you receive your transmitter, it's going to have this little helicopter icon. Now to enter the menu, you've got to click this mode button, push it and hold it down, and that'll give you the menu. Pushing it again will give you the mode or the menu screen too. So you've got those two screens. Now this is the initial screen. I'm going to exit that, push it again. The first one is your parameters. You select or go over the selections using this dial button. And when you're on top of one, you push down on this to select it. The first one on your parameters, you have the language selection. If you want to change something, click on it and you can change it to various languages. Now it's only got these 3 languages, whatever the other 2 are. I suppose it's a Mandarin and something else. The stick mode, the RF mode, that's if you want to switch on or off the transmitter depending on whether you are going to be using it in offline or online mode. Now the guys who do fly using the training mode cable onto a computer may need to switch that off, but yeah. The backlight strength, There we go. We can switch it all the way to 20 if you like. I'm happy with 10. The username, you can enter anything up to 9 characters there if you want to change it onto your name. Your transmitter alarm, at what point it must let you know that the voltage of the transmitter is too low. Now this one is set to 8.6 volts. For my personal purposes, I like to keep it at 10 volts. I'll junk my batteries at that. Receiver alarm. Now that is the receiver on your machine, whether it be a boat or a helicopter or a quadcopter, as I will be using in my case, but it's set to 4 volts. External voltage, that's if you have the PRM01 module, which is going to be monitoring that. And the lock screen after so many seconds, and the sound, the beep beep beep, as it changes over from one selection to the next. Right. The next is your model selection. Now, at model selection, you can select the different models that you want to fly using this transmitter. And you would click to select and then select any one of up to 15 models. And to select a different model, let's say model number 5, you go to it and you click and you hold down, and then it's going to ask you, are you sure? And you select, and then it's going to say yes. Now let's say we want to copy model number 5 over to another model. So because you have 2 which are pretty similar, then you would go down there and select it onto the next one and repeat the procedure of click and hold it, and it's going to ask you overwrite the data, etc. Right, I'm not going to do that for now. I'm going to keep down to my model selection 1. Yes, going to keep it there. And you can give your model a name here, up to 9 characters. Right, model type. Now this is where you are going to select between a type. Now you can reset something to the basic settings, and the type, for instance helicopter, you push down and select, or acrobasic, a glider, different type of glider, different type of glider, or aircraft. Aircraft is your normal quadcopters. Right, and then back to helicopter. Now for helicopters, you have different swash configurations here, all the way from H1, HR3, H3, as you like them, it is here. Now in my case, I'm going to be using a quadcopter, so I'm going to select that onto. Right, are you sure? Yes. And when you change the aircraft type, it does have that little beep. Now, these settings do change a little bit. So depending on the aircraft type, your settings may change. Okay, so that's that. Exit that. Your endpoints you select here, and you can set up here. Your sub-trims. If you want to reverse a specific channel, sometimes you need to reverse throttle, and that you will do here. Now, in many flight controllers, such as the APMs and Pixhawk, sometimes you need to reverse the throttle, but you need to check your control in your mission plan or whatever you're going to be using. Now, let's say we want to reverse the channel. Select reverse. We are going to go down to, let's say we want to reverse throttle. So you select throttle with your little arrow there. Let's just bring it a little closer so you guys can see. I'm going to push my selector, and it's going to start flashing. Switch it over to reverse, and you're going to click it and hold it, and it'll highlight reverse. So now it is reversed. If you want to change it back, click and hold, it'll start blinking. Switch it over to normal, click and hold, and it's now normal again. Right, So that is how you change that. The next option is your dual rates or your triple rates and your exponential settings, and that you will get here. And for those guys who like to fiddle with those, you're more than welcome. To change the channels, normally we have it on aileron setting. To change that, you would push down there and select your elevator, and that will then change to elevator. Select it again and it'll change to rudder. So yeah, for those guys who want to fiddle with that and change the settings. Now this is switch D, so obviously that'll detect on which switch you are going to be setting that. Okay, next setting is your motor cut, and you can set your mix there, your rate, throttle percentage, and in which position it must be down and at what position your throttle is going to be there. Okay, your trims you're going to be setting here. If you wish to reset the trims, they are there. And your failsafe, FS is for failsafe, and where you are going to set up your failsafe on a throttle 15%. So anything below 15% can invoke your failsafe. Right, your auxiliary channels and where you want to set them up. Refer to your manual for additional settings here and how you set those. Your timers and how you set them up. Now, refer to a manual, but what's nice about the timers is you can actually set up timers that count up or count down and let you know that you have been in the air a certain amount of time. Now this is handy if you are on battery packs and you know your certain battery packs, let's say, give you 20 minutes and you want to fly 18 minutes and then get a warning. Now you can set up multiple timers there. Refer to your manual for additional settings there. I'm not going to fully explain them yet, it's just going to take too much time. Setting up your trainer modes, not going to explain that here. Your logic switches, set them up as you need here. Refer to your menu. Oops, I do apologize. Let's go back there. Servo testing. Now this is where you are going to set up your servo tests. Now do remember that you need to enable or disable servo testing here. That is done by, let me exit, go into servo and you click and you turn that on and you need to click, and there your servos will be tested all in one go. Do bear in mind, if you're going to be doing this on a quadcopter, make sure that you have no props attached. Anyway, that is if you do need to do that, and we are going to switch that off. There you go, off. Okay, my throttle is showing upside down because we did reverse it earlier. Okay, receiver. Now this is your telemetry reception, and it will depend on the module installed on your machine and what is going to be receiving. Now system is where you're going to be doing some trimming. If you notice you have slight voltage variances here and there, and you have used a very reliable voltmeter to test your voltages and you see there's small variances, you can come and adjust them here so that they are exactly on what you expect them to be. Right. Your shutdown, if a transmitter is no input is detected for 256 minutes, it must shut down. Now in my case, if I have not used this in a long time, I'm going to be wanting to shut it down. Now I've got no idea why they make it 256 minutes. In my case, if I have not touched my transmitter in an hour, shut it down. Now, here's another nice thing, your background color. Now, it is normally black, but you can change it to white. Well, no idea. If you like white, by all means, there you go. And this is just for your RSS alarm. You can set that up as well. Right, refer to the manual for additional settings there. And that is your first screen. Now if you go over to the second screen on aircraft mode, depending on the aircraft that you have selected, this screen may be different. Now I'm going to select aircraft. Now it's selecting channel 5, and it is going to give me my my modes. Now it says on a channel for switch C, and right, so that's switch C, which is going to select between normal mode, attitude, and GPS control. So my modes are going to be switched between this, which is switch C, the 3-channel selector. Now you can add additional modes here for failsafe, etc., onto a switch D, or whatever you need it to be. That'll all depend on your setup of the transmitter. Okay. Next is setting throttle curves. If you want to set your throttle curve slightly, change it, etc. And you can actually set up separate variables depending on where that switch is. Refer to your manual. It's not complicated, but depending on your flight characteristics and how you like to fly, you might have demure, medium, and very aggressive type flying for various aircraft, and that you will set up there. And next, program mix. You can set up your trims, your links, on which button you wish to, or switch you wish to connect it, your master channel, your slave channel, and various mixes. If you have a requirement for that, it is there. Refer to your manual for additional settings and how to set that up. And there you go. That is a very quick rundown of the AT9s. I'm sure the main question everyone asks is, what's the difference between the AT9 and the AT9s? Well, the AT9s has additional new protocols added. Other than that, the menus are the same. Pretty much everything is the same. If you have a AT9 and you want to buy new receivers, make sure that they are compatible to the AT9. Now, another thing I know everyone's going to ask is, what is the transmission range of the AT9s? Well, basically it is said to be 900 meters on the ground and 1.5 kilometers or 1,500 meters in the air. Next steps, and my next video will be where I test these receivers. I'm going to be putting them onto some of my quadcopters, and we can see how they perform.